Most cruise passengers think they understand how things work on board. You check in, follow the rules, enjoy the food, and assume the crew is there to help everyone equally. But former cruise workers say there is a completely different reality happening behind the scenes. There are rules passengers break every single day without realizing it, behaviors that quietly change how crew members treat you, and systems in place that most guests are never told about. Today, ex-cruise workers are revealing 10 secrets passengers were never supposed to know, not to scare you, but to help you avoid mistakes that can quietly ruin your cruise experience. Let's start with the first secret. Crew members remember everything. Even though they serve hundreds or sometimes thousands of passengers, they are trained to notice patterns. How you speak to them, how you treat shared spaces, how you react when something goes wrong, all of it is mentally noted. Former cabin stewards say they may not show it on their face, but they absolutely remember the guests who are respectful and the ones who are not. This matters because the crew often has discretion. Small decisions like how quickly your request is handled, how flexible they are with small favors, or how much effort goes into your cabin can all be influenced by how you behave early in the cruise. Secret number 2 is that complaining the wrong way can backfire. Many passengers believe that the louder or more aggressive they are, the faster their problem will be solved. Former cruise workers say the opposite is usually true. When a passenger immediately escalates, raises their voice, or threatens bad reviews, it often triggers internal notes rather than urgency. Calm, respectful complaints are far more effective. Crew members are trained to help, but they are also trained to document difficult interactions. Once a passenger is labeled as problematic, future requests may be handled more cautiously or slowly, not out of revenge, but out of protocol. The third secret is that not all rules are written for passengers, but they are still enforced. There are many unofficial rules on board that crew members follow closely, even though guests are never informed. For example, certain areas may technically be accessible, but passengers who linger, wander, or repeatedly ignore subtle cues are quietly flagged. Ex-crew members explain that these situations are rarely confronted directly. Instead, staff may start limiting access, redirecting you more often, or watching interactions more closely. From the passenger side, it feels random. From the crew side, it is very intentional. Secret number 4 is that how you treat your cabin affects more than just cleanliness. Former cabin stewards say the condition of your cabin directly impacts how much time and effort they can give you. A room that is extremely messy, with clothes everywhere and trash scattered, takes significantly longer to service. When that happens, stewards have less time for extra touches like towel arrangements, careful organization, or quick follow-ups. Guests who keep their cabins reasonably organized often receive better overall service, not because they're favored, but because the steward can actually work efficiently. The fifth secret is that crew members talk to each other more than passengers realize. This does not mean gossip in a negative way, but information sharing is constant. If a guest is especially kind, patient, or appreciative, that reputation often spreads among staff. The same is true for difficult guests. Former cruise workers say this internal communication helps them support each other, but it also means your reputation on board can follow you from one department to another. A polite interaction at breakfast can genuinely improve how you are treated later at guest services or in the dining room.
Secret number 6 is that some passenger behaviors are interpreted very differently than intended. For example, constantly requesting small changes, even politely, can be perceived as dissatisfaction. Crew members are trained to read patterns, not just words. Former workers say that guests who frequently ask for adjustments may unknowingly signal that nothing is ever quite right, which triggers a more cautious service approach. On the other hand, passengers who clearly express appreciation when things go well are often remembered very positively. The 7th secret is that crew members are under intense pressure you never see. Long hours, limited rest, strict performance evaluations, and constant guest interaction all happen behind the scenes. Ex-cruise workers explain that when a passenger shows basic understanding or patience, it stands out far more than most guests realize. Something as simple as saying thank you, making eye contact, or acknowledging effort can completely change the tone of an interaction. These moments matter because crew morale directly affects service quality, even though most passengers never connect the two. Secret number 8 is that some perks are discretionary, not guaranteed. Many passengers assume upgrades, exceptions, or small bonuses are purely random. Former crew members say that while policies exist, there is often flexibility within them. Who gets that flexibility can depend on behavior, timing, and how a request is made. Passengers who are calm, respectful, and realistic are far more likely to receive help than those who demand or expect special treatment. This does not mean favoritism, it means human judgment plays a role. The 9th secret is that crew members pay very close attention when passengers ignore safety rules or basic courtesy guidelines, even if those rules seem minor or unimportant to guests. This includes blocking hallways with bags or scooters, standing in doorways during busy times, misusing public spaces, ignoring posted signs, or repeatedly treating staff instructions as optional suggestions. Former crew members explained that these behaviors immediately raise internal red flags, not because the crew wants to punish anyone, but because safety on a ship is non-negotiable. When one passenger ignores rules, it can create risks for the crew, for other guests, and for the smooth operation of the ship itself. Once this pattern is noticed, staff often shift into a more formal and cautious mode. The passenger may feel that crew members suddenly seem distant or less friendly without ever being told why. From the crew's point of view, safety, order, and predictability always come first, even if that means reducing personal interaction to keep situations under control. The 10th and final secret is that most negative cruise experiences are completely preventable. Former crew members consistently say that serious onboard conflicts almost never start with big problems. They usually begin with something small, a misunderstanding about a policy, an assumption that an exception will be made, or a brief moment of frustration that escalates because no one pauses to reset the conversation. Ex-crew members explain that passengers who slow down, ask clear questions, and give staff a moment to explain almost always avoid these situations. The cruise system is carefully designed to handle thousands of people smoothly, but it only works when passengers understand how it actually functions behind the scenes. When guests expect flexibility without communication or react emotionally instead of calmly, small issues can grow into lasting frustrations that follow them throughout the cruise. The biggest takeaway from ex-cruise workers is simple and reassuring. You do not need to be perfect, overly formal, or constantly worried about breaking rules. You just need to remember that cruises are run by people, not machines. Every interaction involves a human being who is balancing policies, time pressure, safety requirements, and guest expectations all at once. When you act with awareness, patience, and basic respect, you quietly become the kind of crew members feel comfortable helping. And when crew members feel comfortable helping you, they often go out of their way to make your experience smoother, calmer, and more enjoyable. These improvements are subtle, but they add up, and most passengers never realize how much better their cruise could be simply by understanding this one behind-the-scenes truth.